Welcome to part 3 of my series of the Chesterfield Canal restoration. It has been a while since I put out my last video at the Staveley Town Basin. I actually shot the footage from this video in early April, but I just didn't get round to editing it until now. So as it has been a while, let's just have a quick recap at the anatomy of the Chesterfield Canal. 46 miles long from Chesterfield in the west to West Stockwith on the River Trent in the east. But we've got 9 miles of missing canal in the middle, and that's the little bit that we're focusing on as part of the restoration. More specifically today, we're going to be having a look at the Staveley Puddlebank. So in the last episode, episode 2, I left you at the top of the restored section, Hartington Harbour. And that's where we're going to be picking up today's story. So we just had a bit of a walk at the minute. I've parked up at Poolsbrook. I'm going to walk up to the canal and then going to return via the Norbury cutting and then back over the top through Seymour back to Poolsbrook. Right, so this is where I left you last time. This is as far as the restored canal goes. So I've just fetched you down here just onto this little bit because if you have a look at this video from a few weeks ago, there used to be a fence up here, so that fence is gone now. We've got Staveley Town Lock in that direction and Staveley Waterside, Staveley Town Basin as it's currently known. So what we're doing today, so we're heading off in that direction. So in that last video I mentioned about a project that had just been agreed literally the day that I was out filming that last episode, and that's the extension onto the Puddlebanks, Staveley Puddlebanks. So we're going to go and have a walk down the Puddlebanks and just have a look at the section that's next in line for restoration. So this next little section, you can see behind this fence there, we've got the old railway bridge that went over the canal. That's the disused line down towards Seymour Junction, Clown, Boltover, that direction. You can see from this map that where the railway crosses the canal there shortly after leaving Hartington Harbour, there is a bridge planned with the railway over the canal, followed by a new lock called Railway Lock, and then a couple of bridges that we'll go through in the next few minutes. Right, so this would have been the canal cutting. It's just a footpath now, but we'll get into that in that direction at the minute. So right where we're standing, just across this chasm here, would have been a bridge, and that would have carried that Great Central Railway over. Now the Transpennine Trail, and if we look at those maps, the restoration plans, there is going to be a bridge. They're going to have the canal where we stood at the bottom here, and there's going to be a bridge going over for the Transpennine Trail. Right, so that's looking east, or northeast as we're heading today. Come on, this way. So I did do this section early last year where I walked the entire disused section, but I didn't really cover this section in too much detail. So just ignore the dog a second. So we've got a platform here. I've not noticed this before despite walking past here many times. I think there used to be a bridge. I'll have to consult the old maps. But just here, we've got Bellhouse Lane. Now at one stage I do know there used to be a wharf, gasworks, and a little bit more railway in this location. So what we've just been looking at is the location of the old Bellhouse Basin. You can see the old railways and gasworks on this old map. And we've got this old photograph looking back in the direction where we've just walked from. So it's just a guess, but you can see brickwork there. I don't know if that's an old bridge or just a canal narrow. And you can see a few old railway bridges in the background there. So I don't know if the one closest to shot is the old Great Central Railway. Now in 2017, the Bellhouse Basin, or the area around it, was subject to an archaeological dig. And I'll leave a link in the description to the Chesterfield Canal Trust website where you can see the photographs of that old dig. And they uncovered lots of interesting artefacts, including several old boats. I understand these boats were buried in the early 1970s. So here's Bellhouse Lane. So again, if we look at that map of the plan of restoration, there is going to be another little footbridge over the canal in this location. So we're now getting on to the actual Staveley Puddlebank, and you can see the way it follows the contours of the land on this map. And even today on Google Maps, you can quite clearly see the definition of the Puddlebank. So there's the line of the canal, you can see just snaking away, and that's Staveley Puddlebank. So that's where we're going to be walking over to now. And we're going to be walking, I can't remember the distance they said it was at the restoring. Was it 3/4 of a mile? My memory serving me correctly there. Yeah, but we're going to follow it all the way up to where the aqueduct used to be over the River Doe Lea. I'm really sorry if the breeze is coming across on the video. It's out in the open, it's suddenly got quite blustery. It's difficult to make out exactly what we're walking on, if this is the towpath. There's a little bit of a dip down there. Is that the canal bed, the canal cutting on the right hand side? Now is probably a good time to tell you a little about the Puddlebank. The term derives from a banking of interlocked clay that has been compressed to give it the ability to hold water. This allowed canal builders to raise their canals and bankings above the land to prevent the need for expensive locks or long diversions along contour lines. Built in 1776, the Staveley Puddlebank is 800 yards long, and as it crosses the River Doe Lea is 30 feet high. So I know these videos are about following the progress of the restoration, and I am aware there's no restoration going on in this video, but I suppose this is just a line in the sand. This is kind of what it looks like pre-restoration, before the work starts, which I don't think is going to be starting just yet. I think we're looking at least 2023 before they start making any inroads back onto the end of the newly restored section. I think I said it at the time when I filmed the whole section of the disused bits of canal that I do prefer how much quieter it is on the Cuckoo Way, on the old towpath, compared to the Transpennine Trail. I've walked it several times and I can barely recall ever seeing anyone else on here. Got a buzzard at that side of me and a kestrel at that side of me. You won't be able to make it out, but it's got a bit of wing missing. You can get a real sense of how much this snakes around. It comes right back in on ourselves. So we've walked all the way along that banking, you can see. We're not far from now from where the canal would have crossed the River Doe Lea by an aqueduct. Now, I'm not going to say too much about this missing aqueduct because that is going to be the subject of my next video, part 4. But there has been some news on what's going to happen with this aqueduct, so I'll cover that in more detail. He does have his uses. He pulls me up the hills. See it? And then just a short section, short distance up from where the aqueduct was, or will be, you come across the mile 6 milepost. And that's the junction there, a path going off in that direction. That's the Norbury cutting. So again, if you've not seen my previous video on the Norbury cutting, that's another disused section of the Chesterfield Canal. It's going off towards, what's it called, the main road in that direction. Yeah, towards Norbriggs. And in that direction, that's the main route of the canal going back to Renishore. No, we're not going that way, Gordo. We're in this way. Come on. Bit of stonework right on the junction. Is it your life's goal to be in the way of everything? Let's move out of the way. I'm trying to film this stone. Right, so we're going to head off down the Norbriggs cutting now. So I hope you've enjoyed that little saunter down there, the Staveley Puddlebanks. I hope it just gives you an idea as well on the next phase, just what's involved. That's it from me, nothing else to say really. So again, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for your support. Don't forget to leave me a comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon again in another video. So take care. Hey, look at the state of your face. Just having fun, aren't you?